this could be so controversial, like dating guys older than me is legitimate. I think to an extent, yes, it depends how much. What makes me smile is like the little things. People like show that they care, but without shouting about it. Yeah, towards people, like if you have a red flag about someone, don't disregard it, like ever. Just, what am I attracted to? I would say I'm very much attracted to, it's like if you want a person to stay in your life, you gotta work at it. I feel like I need to put a disclaimer on literally everything I say. So welcome back to my channel. Today is actually a really cool video that I never thought I'd actually talk about because someone actually requested it. So it's actually all about relationships. And when I say relationships, I mean like all types of relationships. It's also going to be a podcast episode, so I'm about to do a podcast intro. It just did not cross my mind to talk about this topic, so hopefully that the microphone can pick up me, the microphone on here can pick me up. Okay, that's too far. I'm going to be talking all things relationships in terms of my personal experience. Everything I say here is my personal experience, my personal opinion, perspective that I've gathered over my years. So yeah, let's get right into it. So basically subscribe, comment, like, share everything that you want to do if you like my content. So this is going to be a real and raw episode / video. I need to start repurposing my stuff. I'm making life too hard for myself. I actually asked some people, I asked like 6 people, I just reached out to them because this was an episode video that's like very impromptu. I was supposed to have an interview with someone else's podcast and then that fell through. I had tech issues for 2 hours and at the end of it, the guy who was interviewing me was like, I need to just go and smoke because like the stress was just too much. Just a couple of people basically to ask me some questions as well as like public. So yeah, these questions are deep. You are not ready for this episode. If you are like in high spirits, just like sit your ass down, go for a walk, get a snack, everything, and we can get right into it. So I actually don't know which question to start with first. Actually, I just want to make 3 things clear first about my whole take on relationships with friends, family, public, business, everything. I think communication is like the main thing. Communication is like key, and I know it's so cringy, but like it genuinely is. I think for 2 people or more than 2 people to like respond to each other and grow together, and like you don't even have to do that. Be able to be on the same page and understand the other person and where they're coming from, you just need to communicate. And if that communication is not there, I find it really difficult to like relate to people, have relationships with people, like maintain something that's healthy. So that's number 1. Number 2 is boundaries. I think for you to respect yourself and for other people to respect you, you need to like let them know what your boundaries are and like what they can say, what they can't say. I mean, I think everything's an open book to an extent, but like, I mean, even yesterday I had a case where one of my close friends saw me as a child, and like, I mean, when I say that, he started to treat me, he said good girl when because I caught flu or something. I don't have COVID, but like I caught a cold basically, and I said basically I'm just gonna like go to bed, like stop having this conversation, I'm gonna go to bed. And he was like, good girl. And I just pointed out to him, because I do, like with relationships you need to be on the same page. As I said, I just said like, you know, I don't appreciate being called like good girl, that makes me feel like a genuine child. And he's like, well, I actually do see you like a child. And I'm like, what do you mean? Anyway, that's a whole different thing. So boundaries. And then number 3 is adapting to the people you're around. So like, depending on who I'm with, I'm going to adapt what I say and what my mannerisms are and like how I should respond to them basically. Because I'm not saying that I change myself for people. I definitely do not change myself for people. I mean, I just change the way I respond, if that makes sense. Okay, now getting into the deep ass questions. I actually don't know what to bloody start with. Does my hyperactivity make it hard to achieve depth with people? I'd say that's like not a deep question, but like it's less deep than the other questions. Okay, so basically I have ADHD, and it's really fun, but also I can be too much for people. Like my energy is like so, it's so like high all the time, most of the time, unless I like don't take care of myself or don't sleep. If I slept for like 8 hours every day, I just don't think the world would be ready for that. To an extent, yes, it does, because some people can't handle and they don't understand like my energy levels and why it can be so high like all the time. Like I feel I used to be someone who was very introverted. I feel like I should set the scene actually. I used to be someone who throughout like my entire life up to about a few months ago, I was the biggest introvert you would probably ever meet. You probably wouldn't know me because like I was the biggest introvert ever. And like I was the kind of person, the girl who would sit at the back of the classroom reading an actual book instead of going out and like being with friends, because I didn't actually have many friends. And it's not that I didn't have friends, it's that I thought I wasn't good enough to be their friend, so I just wouldn't, I was just a recluse, and I didn't want to talk to anyone ever, and if I was going to talk to someone it'd be through text. That's the kind of level of introvert that I was. Like the opposite. I'm like, I will talk to literally every single person on the street of London. I would talk to everybody, and it's kind of an issue because that basically means that it's not actually an issue. It's really not. No, it's not an issue. I can network like a boss, basically. I'm a good networker. I want to say no. If anything, it makes it better because people are like, wow, like she's actually really cool. Like she has some good energy around her, and they find it easier to interact with me because I'm very chill, but like also really not chill because I'm like really energetic. So I think that people just some people get scared of the energy. Some people are like, whoa, like she needs to like stop. But on the whole, it doesn't stop me from having depth with people. So yeah. Another question that the same person asked, I love this guy. You know who you are, Jamie. So another question is, because I have so many good quality interactions with people, how do I know that it's going to be long term, and do people think that they will be my priority? Like how do people know that I'm going to actually keep them as friends? Or I don't know, I can interpret this question anyway, I guess. Yeah, so I actually am blown away by how many people I can have really good interactions with, and I love it so much. But like, in terms of the long-term thing, I don't know, I'm still figuring out myself. A lot of the people, either they'll just, like, I'm someone who will follow up with people. I will be the person to follow up and be like, hey, do you want to meet up again, or something like that. And often people actually just drop off. Like they don't want to meet again, or they're not feeling it. So it's more the case of them not being long term. Maybe I'm too much for people genuinely. I don't actually know. But yeah, in terms of me being long term, I am totally fine. If we like vibe and we can benefit from each other, like in terms of anything, business, friendship, fun, travel, anything like that, romantic, I don't know, then why not? I would be happy to like keep in contact with people, but it's generally the other person. So I'm just like, whatever, accept it, don't push it, there's no point pushing anything. I will obviously follow up, and if they don't want it, cool. What am I attracted to? I would say I'm very much attracted to intelligence and motivation and drive, and someone who, I don't know, it's more like I don't really mind about the looks. I'm more attracted to personality. Like if someone is blending a smoothie. Okay, I hope you can't hear that. But basically, when people say, what's your type? What do you see in a guy? I'm hearing a girl's conversation. It tends to be girls, like not to stereotype, but it tends to be girls who are like, so what's your type? I'm just like, really? That's like too superficial for me. There is so much to a person than just their physical nutshell, you know? So I'm just more attracted to the personality of like, do they have a purpose in life that they want to fulfill and are actually carrying it out? Are they motivated? Are they spontaneous? Do they want to travel? Do they want to like explore different things and listen to other people? Like that's what I'm attracted to. Also energy. Good energy is like what I'm attracted to. I'm just like someone who can laugh, someone who doesn't take life too seriously but also is one of doing serious things. Yeah, I don't know, it's like what I'm attracted to. In terms of like looks, I don't know, just people who were attractive to me. I don't know. I don't know. What makes me smile? This is all under the same question of what I'm attracted to. So like, what makes me smile? I guess like the little things. That's so cringy, so cliche. I'm like drying up as a desert right now. What makes me smile is like the little things. People like show that they care, but without shouting about it, you know? So like, if someone is doing something kind and they have to say that they're doing something kind, that's like, what? Just don't say it. Like, I know what you're doing. Like, you don't have to like shout about what you're doing that's kind. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying, but basically if someone holds open the door, for example, and they're like, oh yeah, see what I did there, like, I'm holding the door for you, like, that's just not attractive. But if someone holds the door without saying anything, yeah, it's, you know what I mean. Okay, so just when people like get my humor and they're just like, okay, you know what makes me smile is when I start dancing in the middle of a room for no reason and they join me. I mean, I haven't experienced that yet. Actually I did. I'm gonna put a clip in of that. That makes me smile. Okay, and there's, under this question as well, the last bit to this question of what I'm attracted to. What makes me have a deeper connection with people? I would say cut all the bullshit. I don't want to get demonetized. Not that I'm monetized anyway, but I don't want to get like, you know what I mean. I would say the things that make me have a deeper connection with people are like having conversations deeper than what do you do for work and where were you born and like where are your parents from. I would say it's just talking about philosophical things and like the big questions and talking business. I love to talk about business and like investments and like finance and like travel. I don't like to talk about the boring stuff. Like, I know that might sound very stereotypical and cliche. Again, I have to keep making this disclaimer, like cringing at what my words are saying, but like genuinely what makes me have a deeper connection is talking about deeper stuff or dancing with someone or like, yeah. Also physical touch. I don't know, like not in the way that's crass or anything, but just like, you know what I mean? Like a hug, high five, whatever, fist bump, whatever. That was not a fist bump. Okay, so let's go on to another question. Family, or do you want to, we talk about some other relationship stuff? I feel like you need to be warmed up into the family relationships. Okay, dating guys older than me. So personally, I'm 19. If anyone asks me my age, which people do actually very often, I will say you guess first. I want people to guess my age before I tell them because I'm just curious. I'm just curious like that. And my average is like 24. I'm not even kidding. I don't look 24, I look literally 12, but I tend to date guys older than me. I don't even date, I've only had one long-term relationship in my entire life, and then the rest I've just dated around. Like, I'm not like someone who just sleeps around, but like I'm such a flirtatious person in general, and I go on dates sometimes. I don't really see it as dates like ever. It's never like classed as a date, it's just like you want to hang out and yeah. But I tend to go with older guys. My friend circle older than me like by at least 6 years. Usually there's like the odd one who is maybe around 22, but like apart from that, my friend circle, my relationships are like people 26 and above. Honestly, guys a lot older than me. Why do I do it and what's the comparison? I do it because of maturity generally. Obviously there are the unicorns that are actually quite mature, but like they're mature but they are not older, if that makes sense. And that's really rare, like really rare. There's only one guy that I know, Mateus, who, yeah, he's very, very mature for his age. Yeah, I think he's only 20, and that is insane to me. Obviously I'm not going to give anyone second names in this entire video, just the first names, people you don't know. So what's the comparison, what I find with like dating younger and older? I haven't dated a younger guy in probably like 3 years because I just can't be asked for that. Like, I'm friends with some people, no, I'm not friends with, I meet people who are like my age. Actually, I really don't. The youngest people I meet in general is like 21, and even then I can just see, I see the difference, and I don't want to generalize. I'm not generalizing here, but like it's just my experience with people. is they're generally more immature, and they're generally more focused on like partying and drinking and alcohol and like uni, and it's just not me. Like, I don't want to be around that at all, and I think I feel like I need to put a disclaimer on literally everything I say. But yeah, I just find it's just a lot better to hang out and date people who are more mature in their mind. I prefer it, and what I find the difference is there's less drama. People are more open to communicating properly. We can talk about things other than uni or drinking. I have never been to uni myself, so I can't even relate to that. So yeah. Do I think that dating guys older than me is legitimate? I think to an extent, yes. It depends how much the age gap is. If I'm like talking like 37, I'm not sure, because the age gap is like almost 20 years. Even though I don't see the age gap, it is there. And like, this could be so controversial, like some people are probably like really against like really older guys. When I say 20 years, like that's actually a lot to me if you say it out loud, but like when I'm talking to the person, it's like there's no age gap, and if they look young especially, I've dated a guy who's like 37, 38. Mom, Dad, I'm fine. You don't need to worry about me. That wouldn't work, because obviously like it's 20 years, like when he's 50, I'm gonna be like 30. Why did that take so long to work out in my head? Yeah, it's just a massive age gap, and I couldn't see working long term, but like short term it's really fun. I also then tend to gravitate towards people who have businesses, because there's just a lot more to talk about, and it's just really interesting to hear their insights, because my mind and my world is mainly business focused. So yeah, well, I'm creating basically a business. I'm building a business, Rising Above Co. And someone asked, how does it affect my relationships and everything like that? So I would say I'm very not monogamous, basically, because the thing is, I can devote my time to one person, but I like my freedom a lot. Like, obviously I'm safe, but like, I like my freedom. And also with business, a lot of the times I am really damn busy, so for me to like be devoted to one person and like message them and connect with them and meet up all the time is just not viable for me. So I much prefer to like, actually one thing is, a lot of guys, if they're not like mature, they get really scared away from me, because I don't know what it is, I don't know, I'm just guessing, but I think people get intimidated a lot by my motivation and my energy and my drive and my go-getter attitude, they just really just get scared away. And like, obviously it's annoying sometimes, like it's happened like yesterday, like the day before. I talk to a lot of people, I meet a lot of people. I actually don't know how I keep meeting loads and loads of people all the time, but it just happens, and people get scared away, even like, I don't know. So losing relationships, like this, I don't know, this question is very open. They didn't specify what kind of relationships or anything, but I'm just going to interpret it in my way, as I do. So losing relationships. So I moved to London in May the 1st. I didn't mean for it to be May the 1st, it just happened. It was kind of cool. It's like a new chapter, new everything. So I'm not gonna lie, I really didn't have a lot of friends back where I used to live. Like, was up north in like the middle of nowhere, in a very close-minded town. I was actually in a village, but like the nearest town 10 miles away was like, it was not a nice place. It was just not, like, I guess I did lose a lot of people, but I also didn't have them in the first place, if that makes sense. I don't know. So now, like, losing relationships, oh my gosh, when I was traveling, this was a massive issue, because like when you're traveling, you kind of connect with a lot of people. I still do now in London, but like even when you're traveling, there's a lot of travelers, and they have like the sort of same mindset of like everyone's like friends. So I would connect to these people like really well, and then when it was time to depart, because there's always, it always is, everyone lives around the entire globe, you have to go apart at some point, and it was just so hard. Like, I would get such attachments. Even if I'd only traveled with them for like a few days, I would connect so deeply with them, and them too with me, and I would just be like, I don't want to leave you, I want you in my life. Like, but you can't because you're in like bloody Israel or New Zealand or like Denmark or France, and it's hard. So with that, with losing relationships in that way, it's just like you got to accept it because there's literally nothing you can do about it unless you go and meet them in that country, which I will be doing, obviously not with COVID. One way of like how I see it, but like in terms of like losing other relationships, I guess you either gotta work on it and like communicate with the person, or you just gotta let it go. Simple as. Like, if you want a person to stay in your life, you gotta work at it, whether that's a friend, a relationship, or business partner, like whatever it is, you gotta work with that person, otherwise it's just not gonna work, you know? Like, if you're not communicating with someone, obviously that relationship is going to die because you're not on the same page. You're thinking like, oh my gosh, this person's doing this, that, the other, when actually they have a totally different perspective. Yeah, so in terms of losing relationships, that's my take on it, I guess. If the person doesn't vibe with you, you don't vibe with them, you're not on the same path, you haven't got the same goals, there's no reason for you to kind of keep this relationship. I just let it go. And like, obviously it's sad sometimes, a lot of the time, but again, it's life. People go apart, people join together, people come back into your life at the right timing, you know? Part of this question was things I've learned to steer away from and stay close to when it comes to like relationships in general, or losing them, from what I've learned from losing relationships. I would say, yeah, definitely steer towards communication for sure, and steer towards people. Like, if you have a red flag about someone, don't disregard it, like, ever. Just, yeah, if you have a red flag about someone, like, it means something. So many red flags with like so many people in my life in the past, and I would ignore like all of it. I thought this was normal, but it's actually not. Like, it's really not. To have unhealthy, toxic relationships is not normal. Yeah, so I would say like listen to the red flags, listen to your gut, because it definitely serves a purpose, especially if you're in tune with yourself and like everything like that. Stay away from are people who are just like not willing to listen to your perspective. If you're having an argument or a debate with someone's not willing to listen to your perspective on things, and they're just like shouting at you, they're saying their perspective like all the time, they're not letting you talk, they let you talk and they don't listen, they don't truly listen, like, it's just a straight no. Like, come on, like, at least listen to my perspective and truly listen to it. Otherwise it's just not gonna work. I'm just like gonna let you go because it's like not worth it. So, oh my gosh, this is getting so long. What if I like quick fire it? Okay. Family, what's my relationship like with my family? I feel like this is a question that I can answer for like an hour because it's so complex. Obviously I'm not going to give there's a lot of things in this video I'm literally in, or podcasts that I'm not going to talk about. With family, I would say my relationship with my parents and my family has been extremely hard because basically I went through multi-level marketing last year, and I basically decided not to go to uni because I wanted to pursue business, basically. And so I travelled to Greece last August for 2 weeks, and then I was supposed to go to uni as soon as I came back, and I decided to quit, or like cut my uni application, basically, and just go travelling again to get away from my parents, basically. And they didn't understand it, and I didn't understand it. It was a big mess, and yeah, I was going through a hard time, and with multi-level marketing, I lost like most of my savings my entire life, and my parents didn't trust my judgments for anything after that. I mean, they didn't trust me really beforehand, but this made them like not trust me even more. So even now, like when I moved to London, they thought it was such a bad idea because they wanted me to go to uni, or they wanted me to get an apprenticeship, like the standard safe route, and that just wasn't me. It's just I didn't want to do it. Like, I just didn't want to do it. And they couldn't understand it. They were just scared, basically. Obviously parents want the best for you, but they were just scared, and they didn't trust me, and it got to the point of like disrespect. So that's what I'm gonna say about my parents. I'm trying to communicate with them like really hard, like I really am trying, but they just can't see eye to eye with me, and it's like really frustrating because like their opinion means a lot to me. And when they don't agree with what I'm doing, or they don't trust or believe in me, it's like hard, basically. Circle of friends, what define? Like, how do I know who to keep in my circle? I would say anyone who's like good at communication and has good vibes and good energy and wants to do good things in the world, I would say that's someone to keep around. In terms of a close circle, it's someone who is trustworthy, someone is honest and can be honest with me as well as me with them. It has to go both ways. So we've both got each other's back basically. And I would say my close circle is around 10 to 12 people, which seems quite a lot, but genuinely I can connect with people so well that they can get to that level. Layers of a circle, I definitely have layers for sure. Like I know who I can tell what to who. I'm not going to tell one person everything. I just don't think that's fair on someone, because I haven't known anyone long enough. Well, I guess it's not about time scale, but I will never tell one person everything. I just haven't got to that stage with anybody. There are people who know a lot, but like not everything. So last question. Oh, I think I'm doing good at this quick fire round. So, purpose of a relationship. I don't understand this question because the guy gave it to me and was just literally, what is the purpose of a relationship? I don't know what he means by that, like, whether. I think the purpose of a relationship is to connect with another human being on any kind of level. Maybe that is friend, relationship, business, acquaintance, anything really. And yeah, I feel like we're social creatures, we're human beings, we need connection and relationship, and that's basically what I think of purpose of relationship is, to like experience that human basic necessity of connection. And relationships very much help in terms of happiness. I feel like there's pillars of happiness, and the pillars for me are good friendships and relationships with people, like healthy ones. Like humor, like I need laughter, and I can make myself laugh, so it actually doesn't matter if no one else can make me laugh. But you know, I would say like obviously healthy eating, moving your body, spirituality, meditation, whatever, reading and knowledge, like always expanding your mind and expanding what you know and being able to apply it as well. And then yeah, I feel like obviously we need a purpose in life as well. I feel like that's important, a goal to aim towards. But yeah, that's the purpose of a relationship for me. That's like all the questions. Yeah, I think that's all the questions. That was intense. I feel like I talked to thin air for like a long time about things that I have never talked about. And I hope you enjoyed it or got something out of it. I think this is an interesting topic that I feel like a lot of people have different views and opinions on, and I would love to start a conversation with people about it. Or in the comments, or on my Instagram, wherever you're watching this. Subscribe, like, comment, follow, check out my slow fashion eco business, because I'm trying to do big things here in the world. And it would just help if people all the time are like, Georgia, I really want to help your business, like I really want to help it grow. And I'm like, bros, dudes, gals, there is 2 simple things you can do to help me grow my business. 1, buy something, or 2, tell everyone you know about it, or even just one friend. Simple as that. Or if you're an investor and you see this video, hit me up. Yeah, that's everything, and thank you for listening, thank you for watching. If you got this far, you are a gem. I respect you. Oh, I haven't said this in a long time. Make it your mission to do something kind for you today. A random side note, I have had so many questions after I filmed this, because I basically asked people and then I filmed it like straight away because I just wanted to record it, because that's me. I like to go all in all the time. But I basically have so many more good questions. If you want there to be a part 2, I can definitely do that. I love to talk, especially if it's about the deep stuff and like the things that actually mean something.